Hello again, welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me. I hope you've been enjoying your summer and getting through some of your summer reading. I know I have been. Today I want to talk about Moon Over Soho by Ben Aaronovitch. It's the second book in the Rivers of London series, also the Peter Grant series. Anyway, if you haven't read the first book, which apparently is called Rivers of London, maybe outside of the United States, because I read the first one. The first one, as far as I was concerned, was called Midnight Riot. So, yeah, apparently in the U.S. it's called Midnight Riot. It's really annoying to me when they do that. When they're like, "Oh, here in the United Kingdom, in Britain and England, all that other stuff, we're going to call it this." They did that with the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They called it the Sorcerer's Stone in the United States. I guess because they didn't think that we would know what a Philosopher's Stone was. Anyway, if you haven't read the first book, you may want to pause. There's a couple things that happen that I'm going to reference that are spoilers for the first book. So we have Peter Grant. He's just joined his first outfit outside of patrolling the streets. Apparently, you go to the police academy, or whatever they call it in England, and then from there, you are a beat cop. You patrol the streets, and then you go to a different branch of the force. And because he is able to do magic, he then joins this particular branch that concerns itself with the weird and outlandish, kind of like the X-Files. So he's running around London doing his thing. He ends up right at the start visiting Leslie, who was a friend of his from their police academy days and working together as beat cops. She was injured and is on medical leave, events of the first book, and he's kind of left on his own because Detective Chief Inspector Thomas Nightingale, who's the last officially sanctioned wizard in London, in England, and head of the department that Peter Grant works for, he's also on medical leave because of events that happened in the first book. So he's kind of on his own. Now, he gets called in for a suspicious death. It happens in Soho. Now, I'm not totally familiar with Soho. I know it's a more arty district. There's a lot of clubs and music and all that kind of stuff going on there. So he gets called in. There's a suspicious death. A male patron of the club was found in the bathroom with his junk bitten off. Yeah. And so he goes in to investigate, to let them know whether or not this is something that's a supernatural occurrence or if it's some more mundane occurrence. And indeed, he finds out that it is something that is supernatural. He actually goes to one of his friends who is a personification of one of the rivers that feeds into the Thames. And he asks him to, if he's down in Soho, if he notices anything strange and otherworldly, to let him know. On top of that, he also stumbles across some suspicious deaths of jazz musicians. Because there's a lot of clubs and music going on in Soho, he ends up running across this what people think is just a normal, this musician died. And it's because of Peter's ability to detect the residual magic nature of things that go on. So he detects this magical signature, they call it vestigia, on the corpse. He actually hears music. He hears the song Body and Soul by a particular artist. Now, one of the interesting things is at the back of the book there's a note. Apparently, during the Blitz, there was a pretty well-known jazz musician who was killed in the Blitz, and this book makes reference to that event. But the author, Ben Aaronovitch, he changed what song the guy was playing because he felt it'd make a better chapter heading. Anyway, because of all this is going on, he starts investigating these to see if there's more of these musicians who have died under what seemed like natural circumstances, but could have been supernatural instead. Young, relatively in shape, no health problems, and they just die. And so he ends up getting involved, investigating, trying to see if there's a connection and what the connection might be and who might be, if there is a supernatural cause, what might be behind it or who might be behind it. So that's kind of what you're going to get when you get into Moon Over Soho. There's a new character that's introduced that is, her name is Simone. Honestly, I can't say why Peter gets involved with her. What I don't understand is why he gets involved with her. I mean, obviously he's a man and he's attracted to women. We had this established in the first book, so that's not really the issue. And she is described as attractive. Again, not the issue. What the issue is she seems to be involved with these deaths. That's where I have the problem with this particular one, because obviously she is a person of interest in this case. Why are you getting involved with her? So I can only speculate that he's allowing his hormones to override his common sense. Anyway, I did enjoy the book. There's, like I said, there was some stuff that I was not particularly happy with that occurred. The Simone thing, for instance. But again, it moves well. The descriptions are I'm trying to think of the word I want here. Ben Aaronovitch, I feel, does a good job in setting the tone, and not just setting the tone, but also conjuring those images in your head. There's a lot that's going on. There's a lot of people, and that, in my mind, makes Ben Aaronovitch's books a bit muddy for my taste. Instead of just having one case or one narrative thread that goes through the entire book, and maybe this is just from my perception, and that I am misinformed on how police work actually does work, but it sometimes seems messy. The fact that Peter is working on, like, this case of the bitten off Willie, and also this case with these musicians who are dying, apparently of supernatural means. And because of that, because there's not really a clear, this is what I'm working on right now, this is what, this is what I should be working on, this is how things are going. I have one case, I work on this case until I'm done. Maybe I'm misinterpreting how things work, and maybe police work at one point did resolve around you work one case, you get done, and you work on the next case. And right now you can't, because there's so much work. There's too much work for any one police officer to do, so they're often working on several cases at the same time. I don't know, but like I said, it does make the narrative a bit muddier than I would like. So, still enjoyable, still, in my mind, a well put together book. And that's it for today. Let me know if you've read any of Ben Aaronovitch's books. He's got several out. Let me know what you thought of them. Did you read Moon Over Soho? What did you think of it? Did you... Sorry about that. That'll be it for today. Join me over at The Distracted Gamers if you're interested in kind of pop culture and gaming and all things nerdy. And until next time, enjoy what you're reading.